This one's going to be fun. We're going to be taking a look at, is Tyler Robinson a patsy? Examining all the evidence, a video published by Ian Carroll. But before we get started, I just wanted to bring attention to my background. Maybe you'll notice something a little bit different than the last video that I did. I now have some guns back there because apparently on the internet, you can't make videos about any type of gun incidences without proving with 100% certainty that you know everything there is to know about guns. And the only way to do that for people on the internet is just to make sure that you have guns somewhere in your video in the background. So I'm just going to take a minute and introduce some of my little friends to you, okay? This will be fun. First over here, which you can't really see, it's kind of behind the PC. I'm just going to grab it and pull it out quick. That is my wonderful Benelli M4 shotgun. Great shotgun. A lot of fun to shoot. Next to it is my FN Scar, which is chambered in .308. Another great fun gun to shoot. Shoots out a huge fireball. Next to that is the Daniel Defense M4A1. It's just your standard AR-15, basically, chambered in .556. And then up here in the corner, I don't know, move my head out of the way so you can see it right there. That is my Q Minifix, which is chambered in .300 Blackout and is probably the most fun gun to shoot, like ever. It's a lot of fun. It's just this tiny little .300 Blackout pistol, and you throw a suppressor on there, and it's so quiet and so fun to shoot. All right, I'm going to have to move out of the way for this one. It's right by the American flag here. That is my if shit hits the fan gun, a Honey Badger chambered in .300 Blackout, and I'm currently running the Trash Panda suppressor on it. And then if we look right here, this is my Fix rifle, which is chambered in .65 Creedmoor, and I'm currently running a Proof Research carbon fiber barrel in that thing, and it has the Thunder Chicken suppressor on it. I think that's all I pulled out. There's just, I guess I could have put more out here, but yeah, there's just no way I'd be able to fit them. But anyway, just wanted to prove to the internet that now I have guns behind me, so I know everything there is to know about guns. And I've got some camo on just to, you know what I mean? Just fucking internet. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I've got Ian Carroll's video pulled up here. We're going to go ahead and bring it full screen. And let's get it started. He did an intro into the video. I'm going to skip over that. I basically want to just get to like points that he's making as far as any type of evidence that there's a conspiracy theory happening. And I can already almost guarantee that there's going to be some stuff in here that I absolutely agree with, because I think also there's some glaring holes in this that we need to be, demanding answers for. The problem is there's a lot of cuckoo stuff that's getting in the way of that. There's obvious answers to some of these questions that are completely plausible. I want to avoid those and get to the ones to where the questions or the answers to those questions aren't as obvious. And I think that's what we should be focusing on. Just my opinion. It's my video. I'll do it how I want to.
We're about to go over all of that, and we're mostly going to focus on the most glaring holes in the story because the internet is flooded with theories, and some of them are wild. Like, yeah, maybe Charlie's lav mic was actually secretly modified to shoot him in the throat like Mossad pager style.
Okay, I think for the most part we can all agree that's probably 99.99% not the case. So good on Ian for calling out some of these crazy theories that are out there.
But even in the extremely unlikely event that that's true, like, how are you going to prove that, dog? How are you going to, right? Maybe, but let's be real. It's just as possible that a robot bird sniped him with a classified top secret projectile launcher, or that drones with lasers and DARPA technology, it's you're never going to prove any of that, and that's fine. I want to focus on the obvious stuff. The evidence that they're lying to us.
Okay, here we go. The obvious stuff. Perfect. How obvious is this stuff?
For example, The video that the FBI released of allegedly Tyler Robinson jumping down from the roof, which we know beyond any doubt had line of sight to the shooting position. But they chose not to show us the actual shot for some reason. We'll get to that in just a second.
That's definitely a fair criticism for sure. We have that security cam footage, and for whatever reason, I mean, we're pretty sure that we can tell that security cam footage would have Tyler Robinson laying prone in position on top of that roof taking the shot. But for whatever reason, what they released to us doesn't show that. It just shows him running. So fair point.
But let's get ourselves there by starting at the start of the manhunt for Tyler Robinson. Which actually starts with them getting the wrong guy twice.
Okay.
First, George Zinn.
Completely agree. Already he's off to a great start. The George thing is at the very least super suspicious and a very, very, very weird coincidence, right? Forget about like his background. I think didn't he end up getting charged with having like CP on his phone? And that he was like, I don't know, he was on ground zero at 9/11 or something. Or like, forget about all that. Just the fact that there's this weird random old dude at this event and then immediately like tries to take the blame for the Kirk shooting is weird. That's weird.
A 70-something-year-old Ashkenazi Jewish man made a huge commotion.
I mean, I guess we can point out that he's Ashkenazi Jewish. I think this is, yeah. If he is Ashkenazi Jewish, then he's Ashkenazi. All right. Fair enough.
In the crowd.
I worry that we start getting too far into the Israel did it. Not saying that they didn't do it. All right. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that we're quite there yet to make that leap with what little we know about the entire situation.
Claiming he was the shooter. He later told reporters that he did this intentionally to help the shooter escape. And he somehow has a history of showing up at major...
Is that verified that he said that he did it to help the shooter escape? That's a little goofy too, because if you have like, let's say that Tyler Robinson is working with a few people and this old Jewish dude, for whatever reason, is part of that group and is in on it, why would he admit the reason he did what he did? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't he just keep his mouth shut about it? He obviously somewhat succeeded in what his intention was. So why admit to it if they're part of a conspiracy to do this? That's a little weird.
World events as first a witness to the attack on September 11th, and then calling in a fake bomb threat in the wake of the Boston Marathon bombing. This dude...
Okay, yeah, that was the other one, the fake bomb threat during the Boston Marathon thing.
Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Unless he's a spy. Like, you remember where...
Okay. I don't know if we need to go as far as to just put a label and be like, oh, he's obviously a spy, because it doesn't make any sense otherwise. Not sure we need to go that far. That's a little too far to just make that claim, in my opinion. I think it's super suspicious, and we definitely need some more answers.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, spies show up at major world events because they're in the business of shaping major world events. Maybe. Okay, fair point. We'll take him at his word. Let's say he's absolutely correct. Do they also show up with CP on their phone and admit to doing the alleged crime in the moment? Was that normal for spies to do? I feel like that's a little out of the ordinary, but I could be wrong. Already, this dude has my hackles up about intel agency involvement. So, by 8 p.m. on the night of the shooting, Cash is on Twitter announcing that the subject in custody has been released after being interrogated. They got the wrong guy. Twice, actually. They also held another dude briefly. I haven't seen any reporting on who he was or why he was detained.
Yeah, I agree. I can't recall seeing anything about the second person that they said that they was a person of interest and they had in custody, or that Cash Patel claimed they had, or whatever it was. I don't recall hearing anything about the second person.
Here, real quick, let's actually watch the George Zinn video.
Okay. I don't want to. I don't want to sit here and beat on a dead horse with George Zinn. Super sus. Completely agree. Need more information on that. All right. What's the next claim?
American flag shirt. Pretty grainy. Pretty hard to see what's going on here. No rifle, right?
No rifle. You guys, yeah, I have got a treat for you. You see, I came somewhat prepared because I had a feeling that this was going to be brought up, as it's continued to be brought up, that there's no way that he could have a rifle concealed on his person that's a 30-06, basically a hunting rifle. There's no way. It's way too long of a rifle. There would be nowhere to put it. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to make a cut and I'm going to show you a little demonstration. Here's a little video I did just to kind of demonstrate how not impossible it is to have concealed this rifle. What you're going to see is it's very similar to the rifle that the alleged shooter had. It's not the exact same, but it runs off the exact same principles, and dimensions and things are going to be pretty close to each other. Okay. You have essentially two pieces to the type of rifle that Tyler Robinson allegedly used to shoot Charlie Kirk. Okay. You're going to have a receiver and you have the stock. You can take those pieces apart. It's just basically two pieces, and that's it. I'll go ahead and demonstrate. So this isn't going to be exactly how his rifle was. He might have an additional screw that he has to use in order to take out the receiver. But in this one, it's just two screws, and we'll go over that. And this is me doing this at a very not normal angle, and you'll see how not difficult it is at all. Okay, so we've got one screw there. And so we pull that screw out. I'm going to skip ahead because I'm not sure with YouTube guidelines if you're supposed to show the full disassembly of a firearm, but. All right, so we got the one screw out, and then we're going to have another screw right back here. Right there. There's the second screw. Okay, so you take that screw out. All right, and then this piece right here, this is where the mag goes. This is your mag release right here, okay? His is probably relatively similar to this. And then this is the trigger guard. So this piece right here just comes out, could easily, if his firearm had this can easily just be stuffed into the backpack. Not a big deal. See, there it is. All right, so as of right now, the entire receiver of this rifle can now just be separated from the stock. So this entire thing right here, this is the stock, okay? The barrel and everything the barrel is connected to, that's the receiver. And all that does is just pulls right out. Piece of cake. Not difficult to do at all. All right, let's go ahead and skip ahead. All right. So this is how not difficult it would be for Tyler Robinson to conceal his rifle. Okay. Now, granted, I've got the scope mounts on here, but I don't have a scope, but it doesn't really make a difference. The principle still stands. Okay. Now I'm about the same height as Tyler Robinson, and I probably got, I don't even remember what the weight was, but I'm roughly about 178, 176, right around in there, kind of fluctuates, but I'm just under 180 pounds. Okay. So I'm relatively close to the same size as he was. He's probably a little skinnier than me. Okay. So I'm just orientating the barrel and the receiver to point this way to mimic if I had a scope connected onto here. And the scope that I would have on here is much larger than the one that he used. So regardless, but you could easily, there's plenty of room for him to move the chassis, or not the chassis, the stock and the receiver up and down his back, down the back of his legs, and be able to walk. Is it the most comfortable thing in the world to do? No. Does it completely impede you being it? No, you can definitely get where you need to go doing this. Okay. Trying to show that you can definitely bend your knees if you want to. Here's the thing, okay? So let's just say these are slid down my pants. That belt is going to restrict them. So as soon as I move my leg and pull my knee forward like that to walk, I'm not going to bend this barrel, you know what I mean? So it's going to press out here up top, going to come away from my body like that as I'm trying to move my legs. So that's going to limit the amount that I can pull my knee forward and bring it up, right? So that's going to make me walk a little funny. How can I hide that? Probably by putting a backpack on my back. Because if I'm going to, and this stock is definitely larger than the stock that he had. I'd almost guarantee that. But if I have a backpack on my back, right, and these two items right here are under my shirt and down the back of my pant legs, I can absolutely conceal any printing that's going to do with that backpack. Not impossible at all. Totally plausible. So I just wanted to do that little demonstration just to show you guys how not crazy of a theory that is, that he's concealing that rifle and stock separated behind his back and then using the backpack to cover any type of concealment that he has or cover any type of printing that he has going on.
And
we don't get any like of those shots. As far as I know, we don't have any video of him going and walking up the stairs. So we're not, you know what I mean? We have no idea how goofy he looks trying to walk up those stairs. But we do have that TMZ video of him walking, and it looked like he was struggling a little bit, which makes sense.
At 8 p.m., they put out 4 more photos.
I'm assuming that's where he's going with this, is that we don't see a rifle.
Sure looks like he's bending his knees.
Which he absolutely could, which I just demonstrated. He would have that running down right here. Can you see that? Okay, right here. Say that this is the barrel side. This is where he's got the barrel right down the back of his knee, and he could absolutely still bend that knee. What he couldn't do is bring that knee forward, bring that knee up. You know what I'm saying? Because the further he brings that knee forward and up, the more that's going to pull from the top and pull out away from his body. So that would make sense why he's in this kind of like close-footed, weird stance, because he just can't like bring that knee up normally.
Right? That's his right leg. That's his left leg. 30-06.
I'm going to have to, there we go. Okay. So as you can see here, kind of the same idea. He's not like he's walking at a slant, right? Or going down the steps kind of at an angle. He's not going at the steps head on. Why is he doing that? Because he cannot bring this knee that far up and forward. He has to keep it somewhat low and not pull it forward. Because the more he pulls it forward, the more he's going to pull the back of that
like a Mauser
shit. The more he's going to pull the back of that barrel or the top of that barrel or the top of that stock away from his body, which is, he's not going to want to do that. It's not comfortable, and it could cause issues as far as just things not being situated correctly. Like he wouldn't want to do that. So he's going to be walking a little goofy, and from the looks of it, a little sideways, right? Just kind of slowly stepping down and trying not to bring either of his knees up. So that makes perfect sense. Like this angle right here makes sense as to how he's walking. And the other ones we had too, he was at a bit of a side stance, and he's got his leg bent in kind of a weird way because he can't bring that knee up.
It's a pretty big gun. Those are pretty skinny jeans.
It's not that, it's really not that big of a gun, especially when you break it down into 2 pieces like that. It's not small, okay? And that would not be comfortable. That would not be a good time. That would not be fun. It's not something I'd want to run around all day in. It's not like you know what I mean? But it's nowhere near impossible to do. It's very plausible. Especially if your goal is to get to a place and shoot somebody with it without being detected that you're carrying a rifle. Yeah.
All of the experienced shooters.
Here you go. That was that other photo I wanted to show. He's got to take a step here, right? That is a weird bend to keep that leg straight, and he's probably just going to like, I wish we had videos of him going up the steps. I don't know why they wouldn't put up videos, because they would have to show him, and he's at it kind of an angle. Granted, I know he's about to make a turn to go up another set of steps, but I really think if we had video of this, it would show him going upstairs in a really weird way and trying really hard not to lift those fucking knees.
Versus all those guys on the internet are having a hard time squaring the theory that he stuffed this rifle down his pants.
I don't know what gun guys he's talking about that are having a hard time squaring this theory that he stuffed it down his pants. I have guns. I shoot things. I shoot lots of bullets all the time. I guess that makes me a gun guy. And this gun guy is telling you, when just showed you, it's totally plausible that he stuffed this shit down the back of his fucking pants and upper torso.
And that it's somehow.
So making this claim like, oh, these gun guys are saying it's not possible. I'm telling you, it's definitely possible and probable. Going off the official story, probable that that's what he did.
How concealed in these photos.
All right, I want to go past that. Let's get to the roof.
Appears on the right side of the structure running still. This video.
Where does he start the roof video from?
And we all remember seeing where he appears on the right side of the structure running still.
Okay, I already know where he's going to go with this. And I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming we're going to get the whole, you don't see a rifle. You can't see a rifle. There's no rifle in his hand. Something along those lines. And I'm here to tell you, I've watched this video, this specific video, a ton, and I'm going to clearly point out what absolutely looks to be a rifle wrapped in a towel. Super easy to see if you look for it.
12:23, 48 p.m.
Now, I wish, like, it doesn't matter.
He's got something in his hand.
Okay, I need to go back because you can almost kind of see it right there. So I'm going to drop this down to 0.25, turn the volume down so we don't hear that goofy sound. But you're going to see this video. I think it's as soon as he zooms in, you get a fairly decent glance at what looks to be a rifle. And I'll try to pause it. Probably going to edit this out if this takes too long, or at least just jump edit to the part. Okay, come on, zoom in. Okay. Might try to go a frame or two more, but you can see this shape right here. That was, let me see if I can get a better shot of it. Okay, before, if you go to the screen before, this little guy right here was not in frame. This was not a thing. And now it has entered frame. I'll get you a better image of this, but you can already see that there's something there. Okay, we're going to go back to normal speed and turn the volume back on. Right there.
Is this shape that he's putting down as he clambers?
If you look here, this is absolutely some type of something that looks like it's draping off of something.
Over the edge.
Okay, that's what we can get out of this.
A Mauser hunting rifle.
Super clear image, all right?
Listen, I'm not the gun expert. I am not the gun guy. That is not a rifle.
Okay, I'm not the gun expert. I'm not the gun guy. That's not a rifle. You can't make that claim based off that. So let's keep going.
And
let's have some fun, because when he gets to the ground, you can absolutely see what looks like to be a rifle. And he keeps saying all of the gun guys. I wish he would have referenced what gun guys. What gun guys are making the claim that that's definitely not a rifle?
All the gun guys agree. I'd be curious. A rifle. And as he climbs over and jumps down, you can tell that the rifle's not down.
Okay, I don't know if you just seen that. That looked like a pretty long piece of something that he just grabbed to bring down this way. Doesn't matter. We're going to have a much better view when he gets down here.
His pants, because he would have
Okay, I gotta minimize here.
Just split his.
See this absolutely long piece of something right here? All right, so now let's go back to the beginning. Tyler Robinson shows up. We get those images, right? All we can see is that he's wearing a shirt, jeans, a backpack, a hat, and sunglasses. If this is Tyler Robinson on this roof, he's added something that wasn't there before in the pictures that we had. He now has an extra object on his person. What do you suppose that could be? Well, the only plausible thing it could be is the rifle wrapped in a towel, which is what they told us it is. You can clearly see it. So let's keep going.
Completely in.
Yep, there it is again. And you can see the towel sort of like dangling off.
Half as he landed.
Now he's running away.
As he picks it up and
it's not his backpack. His backpack was wide and a normal backpack. It didn't all of a sudden magically transform into something long and relatively slender.
Runs away. Is this thing in his hand? Is this a rifle? It looks a lot more like a sweatshirt or maybe his backpack.
No, his sweatshirt would not be a mostly rigid, stiff, long piece with a little bit of dangly at the end. So no, it's not a sweatshirt.
He actually has to grab his hat with his other hand and put it back on his head. Is it a rifle?
Yep.
I mean, maybe if you aren't
not
familiar
100% certainty, but 90% definitely looks like he's carrying a rifle to me. And it looks like it's definitely something he wasn't showing on his person in the images of him going up those steps.
Big this rifle would be. And he's just carrying a giant rifle concealed in this.
Okay, here we go. So now he's got it, right? Does he show
not
him?
A rifle.
It's the okay.
And once he runs off over
it's definitely
here,
a rifle. He is running. So he's got his backpack on. We can see that, you know what I mean? There's that little sort of, so his backpack is still on his back and he's running and this thing is dangling. Almost like he's got it like this. Like he's got a rifle chilling out here and it's pointed out towards the ground and it's got that little piece of towel at the end dangling off. So he's got it wrapped in a towel to try to conceal it as best as he can because he knows he just shot somebody and he has to get the hell out of there and go to wherever it is he needs to get to. And he's going to want to do that without causing as much of a scene as he can. Do you know what I mean? So the best thing, the only really thing he can do there is either leave the rifle on the spot, or if you're trying to take the rifle with you, you have to try to conceal it in some way and you have to be able to do it quickly. So he wraps it up in a towel just to get, obviously he doesn't need to get far, or he's not thinking he needs to go far, or he probably come up with a better plan to conceal the rifle on his way to wherever he's going. But since he's just getting across the street into this wooded area, he just needs to wrap the rifle and get the fuck out. So that way nobody can say definitively that they saw him carrying a rifle. They will say, I saw him carrying something.
There's people all over the place out here, actually.
Yeah.
Here it looks like he's kind of all alone, but like there's people in the parking lot. There's dudes walking by on the street. And he's just carrying a giant rifle concealed in this floppy towel, allegedly.
Yeah. And he's moving quickly, but he's not moving like crazy fast. You know what I mean? So he's definitely trying to be somewhat cautious and not make it look too obvious that he just shot somebody and he's running the fuck away.
There's cars all over the place. A shot just rang out, a very loud shot.
A very loud shot just rang out. Yet the people that were walking around in that area didn't really seem too concerned about it. It didn't look like they were freaked out.
Yeah. So, a little weird.
I'm not really sure like what his point of that is. If Tyler Robinson's the shooter and he's on the roof and he takes that shot, he's got to get away, right? He's got to get away. What's he going to do? So like, oh, look, he's just running half, briskly walking, running, jogging through the grass with a bunch of people around. Like, well, I mean, he's got a area he needs to get to. How is he supposed to get there? And he's not going to leave the rifle behind. So he wraps it in a towel and he books it, man, trying to get there. Like, I don't know what your point is. He's got to try to get away.
Weird right away.
Doesn't look weird. It looks like a kid who had a plan and pulled it off fairly well.
But there's an even bigger problem with this video and with their official story.
Ooh, a bigger problem.
Let's look at this one more time. What do you notice?
So far, there's really not much of a problem with anything he said regarding Tyler Robinson himself.
About this video. What's wrong with this picture?
Okay, I'm assuming this is he'll talk about the security camera and why we don't get an angle. Fair point. Solid question. I would like to see it.
In the video,
is that where he's going?
You can see that this camera has a clear and unobstructed view of the entire roof.
I agree.
Of
We're
going to
skip past this.
And that is the security camera.
Security camera, yep.
That captures.
I agree.
To cut.
I have no idea what reasoning they would give to not show us that. I don't know. I'd be curious. I would like them to, if they're not going to show that part of it, at least give us the reason why. I'd be curious to what their reason is. Okay, we're going to move on.
3 seconds later, and just show a dude running. So the first big problem with the official video of him that we were told by, and you can see how this figure is getting close. We can clearly see the figure on the roof running within seconds of the shot being fired. Then cut to the video provided by the FBI, and it's clear that this video also starts seconds after the shooting. Let's just, for clarification, look at it one more time. Shot being fired, right? He fires the shot. He takes off running. Is the rifle in his hands? Sure doesn't look like it. Could he have put it into his saw? The figure getting close is probably starts second.
Okay, hold on.
This analysis shows
point
the first videos that
here?
came out. Backpack. We were told by the government that he disassembled the rifle together, and so on the roof.
This is
even then.
This one. Some of you guys are going to agree with me on this one, and some of you are going to fucking hate me. Don't care. I'm going to make my point on this. So the point that he's going to be bringing up here is that the government told us that, or the authorities told us, I'm pretty sure it was Governor Cox out of Utah, right? That gave this description of the timeline and of events or whatever. But he's going to make the argument or the case that somebody said he assembled it, disassembled it, reassembled it, yada, 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 however many times Governor Cox said that. Here's my honest opinion, and what I think we're looking at with that is I think the governor just misspoke, right? The governor's not doing the investigation. The authorities are doing the investigation. The governor's going to go out and give a press conference, right? So they're relaying this information and this timeline of events that they're putting together to the governor. And I don't think the governor probably has much experience with this type of shit. You know what I mean? So they probably, gave him the description like, well, he must not have had the rifle assembled when he got there. So when he did get up to the roof, he must have assembled it on the roof because it was disassembled in order to conceal it. And he probably just misspoke and said assembled and disassembled in the wrong phrases at the wrong time. You know what I mean? That's my honest opinion with that. I think it's just the governor misspeaking. So I don't think we should get hung up on that too much, because we can clearly see him with something that he didn't have before on the roof. He has something in his possession that looks long and is wrapped in some type of fabric that he didn't have before in the pictures that we saw. So I'm going to skip ahead of this. If you guys want to razz me in the comments for that, I don't give a shit. But that's what makes the most sense to me, is that the governor's just an idiot and completely misspoke and doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Okay.
On September 11th, titled Imported Mauser Rifle Used in Charlie Kirk Assassination Recovered in Wood, Sources Say.
Hold on, maybe I need to go
stock.
back.
Rifle in his hands.
Sure
doesn't look like it. Could he have put it into his backpack?
As a gun guy, Ian, I disagree with you and say it kind of looks like he's got a rifle.
Like, let's be real. No. But people started trying to suggest that maybe it had a collapsible stock. That it
no,
it
didn't have a
real fast.
collapsible stock. It's super easy to just take apart and shove it down the back of your clothes.
Fixed stock. weird scope placement. And
Definitely a weird scope placement. For sure.
interestingly, the New York Post article that published this photo on September 11th, titled "Imported Mauser Rifle Used in Charlie Kirk Assassination Recovered in Wood," sources say, that article's gone, which is kind of weird.
I guess I don't know the point he's trying to make there. New York Post, let's type Tyler Robinson rifle. Gun that killed Charlie Kirk. This is September 20th. Is a World War I era rifle, maybe untraceable. Alleged Charlie Kirk. This is the 18th. I'm pretty sure there was one on like the 16th, maybe. Firing squad, death penalty. Yeah, right here. Alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson obsessed about leaving behind grandpa's rifle at murder scene. Okay, there we go. Bolt action rifle recovered near the scene where Charlie Kirk was fatally shot. And then the article doesn't make sense, but I don't know what point he was trying to make.
The rifle we're told that he used, people have been disassembling them on TikTok left and right. You can go find videos of people disassembling Mausers with tools. Fastest I've seen is like 50 seconds. There's clearly not 50 seconds to disassemble a Mauser with precision little tools. Not to mention that then he left the tool apparently on
It doesn't take long.
On the roof and then had to reassemble it later before he drops it in the woods. Duh. So
all like rifle styles like that pretty much go together and come apart the same way. There might be small little variants, you know, like I said, one might have like an extra screw, like where the trigger guard is or something, but for the most part, they all come apart and go together the same way.
So if he has the rifle when he's coming off the roof, it's in his hand. It's not down his pants, partly because the fully assembled rifle is way too big for that. And he obviously lands like a total nerd when he jumps off the roof.
All right,
and both of his knees bend well past 90, even on the roof here, into this wooded area, which is where allegedly the rifle was ditched and dropped. So this is where he apparently changes his clothes. Allegedly, the original version of the story was that he reassembled the rifle in there with the screwdriver that was found on the roof, but they're not really talking about that part of the story too much anymore.
Well, yeah, let's just say that they lied and that is completely made up, but they don't want to. I think he just misspoke. I think the governor just misspoke. That's all I think happened there. So he goes into this wooded area. Okay. Why does he leave the screwdriver on the roof? Probably because he's got a lot of adrenaline pumping and he's not thinking super clearly. And he just fucking forgot it because he had to take it out on the roof to put the rifle together, was more concerned about being noticed and getting in spot to take the shot and get out of there. And in all of that chaos and everything going on, like the amount of adrenaline and emotions that this kid's probably going through, it's really not impossible to think that he made a mistake, which he did, according to the official story. Totally plausible. That's totally plausible.
So, yeah, changes his clothes, stashes the rifle in a towel that conveniently has DNA matching Tyler Robinson on it.
So if he has a towel and it's his towel and he's used the towel, there's a solid chance it's probably going to have his DNA on the towel. It really doesn't take much to get DNA onto a towel. At least I don't think they're able to do DNA swabs where they just go in and get a little spit out of your cheek. I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to leave some DNA on a towel, especially if it's your towel. So he uses that towel to conceal the rifle.
Apparently, screwdriver conveniently has DNA matching Tyler Robinson, apparently, right? They made a point of telling us that the screwdriver and the towel both had the suspect's DNA on them.
I feel like that would be important information to know if you're relaying to the public that you're confident that you got the person that you're looking for, to let them know that we did DNA testing and we have DNA matches on both, or there is DNA on the towel and on the screwdriver that I don't know how that's like ooh, gotcha.
They didn't mention the autopsy at all. They didn't mention the bullet that they apparently didn't recover and avoided talking about for over a week until just now. There's breaking news on that we will get to shortly.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. I don't know why that they're not. I don't know. I don't know if it has to do with like the autopsy is going to be evidence that's going to be held back to be presented in a potential trial if Tyler Robinson pleads guilty. So like I don't know how much they can actually give the public if they're preparing for a trial, you know what I mean? So like it's tough to say. I would like to see it. I think they should put it out. But I don't know how the legal system works when it comes to a murder investigation and then preparing a case to go to trial to try to get somebody convicted of a crime. Really not familiar. I don't know how much information they can divulge to the public. You know what I mean?
Right? They didn't mention.
But I would like to see some pictures because apparently just today we had a shooting at an ice facility, and within hours we had images of the rounds that allegedly had the inscription, was it anti-ice on them or something? We got those pictures like right away. Where's the pictures of the bullets that were used in the Charlie Kirk assassination that apparently had all this writing on it? I would like to see those. That would give us some more information about whatever it was that hit Charlie Kirk in the neck and killed him.
Gunshot residue on Tyler Robinson's person. These are all some of the most important aspects of any type of murder investigation.
He's not going to have. Pretty sure he easily could have gotten rid of any type of gunshot residue, considering when he took the shot and when they found him or when he turned himself in. What was it, 33 hours? Yeah, they had plenty of time to get rid of any type of residue that might be on you. Also, it's a bolt action rifle. It doesn't have, you know what I mean? It's not a gas operated system. It's not going to have any type of gas or anything really shooting back at you or down towards your hand. Once that bolt is closed and locked down, everything that gets fired in that gun is going right out of the barrel. It's not coming back in any way, shape, or form. So I don't really know how much residue he would have on his hands or person anyway.
Like, we have not heard a single peep about the autopsy or who performed it or anything about it, right? And that would clearly, conclusively show where the bullet entered, where it exited, if it exited, whether Charlie was wearing body armor, right?
I agree. Yep, I have no problems with this point at all.
What kind of caliber of round hit him? Where was the shot fired from? You know, like all.
Oh, but I just wanted to point out too, I got so much love in the comment section of my other video for the hat that I decided to wear it again for you guys. You're welcome.
All the most important questions. The autopsy, which they've already completed, would put all those conspiracy theories to bed. But they haven't mentioned it. Not even a peep from the.
So I have a problem with the autopsy thing though. Okay. If this is a government conspiracy and they're doing a government cover up, you think they're going to release a legitimate autopsy report? You don't think that can be fabricated and manipulated? So even if we do get the autopsy, are people really going to believe it?
Mainstream media or FBI about it until last night. And we'll get to that in just a second. The new details about the autopsy are completely insane. But they matched Tyler Robinson's DNA to.
They're definitely silly that we're not going to, because I agree with him on this, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. But from what I understand is I don't think we actually have any type of like doctor, surgeon, or medical examiner giving us this specific from their mouth, where we're getting it second party from somebody else who's basically saying what they were told. So, I mean, take whatever with a grain of salt. It's really hard to believe that a 30-06 did not have any type of exit wound and that it stayed. Bullets do weird shit sometimes. They just do. That's a fact. Highly, highly unlikely that there'd be no exit wound with a 30-06, in my opinion. But as it sits right now, that's what they're telling us.
to the screwdriver and to the towel.
So we're going to skip past that. Yeah, the text messages we're not going to go over. These are crazy. There's only two real scenarios, in my opinion, of this, since we don't have like pictures of the phones with timestamps of the actual text messages. This is just my opinion, but these are the only two scenarios. One, this is completely made up, right? It's just completely false. Or two, when they were interviewing the roommate, Tyler and the roommate probably deleted their messages, and the roommate was just deciding to cooperate and give as much information as they could and can remember. So they were just basically, you know what I mean? They're just explaining what the text messages were to whoever was taking down the notes, and whoever took those notes down put in their own like cop wording or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, no, then he went into this wooded area, he said, and he put the weapon down in a spot that he was going to go back to and pick it up, and they put it in there as well. He brought it to a drop point. So there's only two scenarios there. It's goofy. I agree 100%. This is, I don't know what the fuck this is. Let's keep going.
I am getting a call on my modular cellular.
17 minutes after the shooting, that is incorrect, and that is people misconstruing the reporting. 17 minutes away from campus, but the photo was allegedly taken at 6:38 p.m., probably by a Dairy Queen employee on their internal security camera.
Okay, so we know that the shot, it was like 12:20 something around there time. So this is allegedly at 6:38 p.m. that same day. So just say it's been about 6 hours have passed since he took the shot. So just keep that in mind while we cover this.
And the internet is currently vetting this photo to try to figure out if it's legitimate, and it's looking like it is.
And I don't know if there's anything new that's come out about this photo, so I'm just going to go off of what he's saying here with it.
So, real quick, does he look like he's aware that he's the most wanted man in America?
He isn't the most wanted man in America at this point. There has been nothing put out to the public that would identify him as anything. So no, he doesn't look worried that he's the most wanted man in America, because he's not yet. We don't get those photos and images of him until the next day, right? So no, at this point, he's probably thinking, I might have got away with it. I'm sure he has a phone. I'm sure he's checking the news, looking at the news. I would think he's still hanging around in the area because he's going to try to get his rifle, right? So that they don't get it. But he's not super concerned with the rifle because there's no serial number, so it can't be traced to him. Just speculating on what's going through his mind. But he just committed a murder of somebody that I think he probably thinks is okay to do. And he doesn't think that he's, you know what I mean? Like, there's no information being put out about him. There's no pictures of him. Nothing has been released to the public yet. So no, he doesn't look like he's concerned about that, which makes sense.
Right? Like, let's take a moment here to talk about the profile.
Not to mention what he just went through, the amount of adrenaline dumps he probably had. He's probably pretty chill. He's probably got quite a bit of an endorphin high going on. Just saying. I don't know what it feels like to kill a person, but I would think if it was something you really want to do, it probably wouldn't feel terrible. And you would probably get a bit of a high from it. And I'm sure at some point, after you kind of come down from that, you're going to be feeling pretty relaxed and probably hungry, which is why he went to Dairy Queen.
File of Tyler Robinson. What are we supposed to believe about this guy? Because he is just chilling, having a little freezy, some nuggies, while there's a national manhunt on for him.
There's not a national manhunt on for Tyler Robinson. Just to be clear, there's a national manhunt to try to find who it is that shot Charlie Kirk. Nothing about Tyler Robinson has been released yet.
He hasn't even recovered his rifle yet. He's waiting to go back and get the murder weapon. What's his old man gonna think? Right?
No, not right. Doesn't surprise me at all he's at Dairy Queen.
Had a 4.0 GPA and scored 34 out of 36 on the ACT. He had a full ride scholarship to university, but then decided to drop out after just one semester.
Seems a little strange, but not uncommon for kids to go to college and do a semester and realize, no, not for me. And that wasn't it reported that he was doing like an electrician apprenticeship or something? So he clearly found a different path to take. You don't need to go to a university if that's what you want to do for a career. So it doesn't surprise me, but it is a little, I think there's nothing that like screams at me like there's something suspicious with it, but I don't think it's something you just throw off the table either.
He's been described as a chronically online kid, but we haven't seen any social media profiles at all.
I mean, that's another thing too.
None. Discord went back and forth with the government and media when they tried to say that he partially planned and told his friends about the attack in a Discord server. And Discord...
Yeah, the Discord thing was weird. Discord, saying that, well, we think he used Discord to communicate and try to plan this. And then Discord said, no, there's absolutely no evidence of that. And then I think they go in and they find conversations or something in Discord, but there's nothing that really links anything in there that they found or that they've told us about.
The company actually came out and said,
I don't know. That seems a little goofy, but probably not going to waste a bunch of time.
That wasn't
Let's
true.
skip
Everywhere
forward here.
He would have been there going left, and as I was coming through, he turned in, and I T-boned into the side. Okay.
All right, we'll see what point he's trying to make here with this completely irrelevant body cam footage from a police incident like a few years prior.
Remember looking at the light? Yeah, it just turned yellow as I was getting into the intersection. Gotcha. Okay, are either one of you injured in any way, shape, or form? No, nothing hurt?
Believe that kid,
Okay.
but like we're supposed to believe that kid from a good household, 4.0 GPA, full ride scholarship, went off the rails and shot Charlie to protect.
This is going to be a weird point that I'm going to try to make, but generally kids you know what? I'm making a goofy claim here just to have a little bit of fun. But generally kids with a good background, if they're going to commit crimes, they go pretty big. You know what I mean? Get kid from a good background that goes to an Ivy League school, and before you know it, he commits, insider trading or whatever the case is. Well, here you have a good kid from a good background who decides, instead of just being a bad kid from a bad background and just causing violence on anybody for whatever reason, plots out and takes out a pretty prominent person in the country. So I don't that's kind of a silly claim to make. And I might actually edit that out, but I don't a good kid from listen, man, bad people can come from just about anywhere. Also, he might not think what he did was bad. He very well could have rationalized it in his brain that Charlie Kirk is evil and full of hate, and that the world would be a better place without him, and that he believes that it's his duty to do the world a favor and eliminate that hate. So is he doing a bad thing in his mind?
His trans lover boy boyfriend. Could be. Or get out your tinfoil hat, because this is a hell of a rabbit hole to consider.
All right, let's do the
Fair
tinfoil
warning.
hat. What do you got,
Does anyone
Ian?
else think it's odd that Tyler Robinson, the Charlie Kirk shooting suspect, heads to Utah State University, a school with uniquely heavy CIA ties, for just one semester in 2021 as a pre-engineering major, then mysteriously drops out and heads back home? He was a bright kid, top 1%, ACT score of 34, 4.0 GPA in high school, and got a $32,000 presidential scholarship. The university's Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, the nation's first program of its kind, led by ex-CIA analyst Jeannie Johnson and co-founded by former CIA Assistant Director Matt Barrett, actively recruits STEM kids like Tyler for its interdisciplinary intelligence training. There are no known direct connections yet, but with the
Okay, well, when you get some known direct connections, maybe then come back and talk about this. I'm not really sure what this where this would go. I'm not closing the door on this at all, but I'm gonna want like some more information and some more connections made before we start delving down this like CIA conspiracy using Tyler Robinson as a what? Like so he was recruited by the CIA to be a patsy. And he's just going to take that and get locked up and potentially get the death penalty, and he's just not going to talk about it. Like, what? Now, I mean, as of right now, he's alive. That we know, or that, I mean, I guess he could be dead and they're not telling us, but I don't think that that's the case. If somebody feel free to go ahead and explain the whole CIA and Tyler Robinson connection and what that would mean. Because if he is connected to the CIA and then he was told what, to be on that roof, to be a distraction for the real people who took the shot. So he's a willing patsy for what benefit? For what reason? He's just going to sacrifice himself he could have just taken the shot then. Right? He's going to sacrifice himself as a CIA asset for the greater good of humanity, or that's what his orders were, or whatever the case is. Well, why doesn't he just take the shot himself then? And if he did, okay. Well, connect him with the CIA so you can bring the CIA ties to Tyler Robinson and say that there's a conspiracy there. Absolutely.
U.S. used strong CIA
But get some connections first before you just start throwing this stuff out.
and Israeli ties via over $2.4 million in research grants. You have to wonder what sparked the sudden exit. What do you guys think? Comment below.
I don't know. I don't know how that would have anything to do with him just deciding to quit school a semester in.
So this is the perfect example of the kind of content that seems spicy, but you should probably double check it. And so I'm
going to skip ahead of this. I'm not closing the door on this at all. So I'm not like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to point out the kooky stuff that doesn't belong in any of this so we can focus on the good stuff. I don't know if this is kooky or if this is something, but I'm just going to skip ahead of it because I have no idea. So not saying Ian's right or wrong or anything about this stuff. I would just like, I mean, no known connections. I would like to see some more connections first, then start talking about it. So
it bears mentioning that the CIA loves Mormons. They don't drink.
Oh, you still
they
on
don't
the
party.
CIA stuff.
They're just good kids.
I feel like the CIA loves anybody they think can be an asset to them, whether that's Mormons, Christians, atheists, whatever. I don't know what being a Mormon would have to do with anything. There's a lot of people that don't drink or do drugs.
Very patriotic. You know? What's not to love about Mormons?
Sure.
So, that part of the story. It does square why a 4.0 student on a full ride scholarship,
Still on
and that has
okay.
not largely changed.
Not like just so we're clear, my goal is not to push the official story and completely debunk everything. No, I want to get rid of the garbage kooky stuff and keep the good stuff. So I'm just going to reiterate that I don't know if this is kooky or if this is legitimate. I have no idea. So I'm not closing the door on it.
But anyway.
Hopefully Ian finds more information and puts out more information about this if there's legitimacy to it. I would say right now there doesn't seem to be a whole lot.
Anyways, we'll keep our eye on it and we'll see if this
Perfect.
angle of the story develops at all. Because
Awesome.
now, let's get to the new and juicy details that just came out last night about this magical bullet.
Yeah, I'm not going to cover this either because I agree with it. It's really hard to believe. Really hard to believe that we have a magic bullet and that it was, that we have a miracle. Okay. Bullets do weird stuff. I said do. But it's probably really unlikely that there's no exit wound from a 30-06.
Exit wound is probably an or two on through what a 30 balls of cotton we know versus X.
Powerful.
In addition, it's away from the shot that's and we'll explain that in just a second. But basically, when you analyze those from people's but have 3 points.
This like acoustic analysis, like this stuff is beyond me, because I know that, I mean, I've watched a few videos of other incidences where they did stuff like this, but this all kind of like depends on, what recording device it's coming from, where that device is located in court, you know what I mean? And then where the shot is taken, how much stuff is echoing off of and vibrating, reverberating, whatever off of like, there's so much involved with this stuff that I don't, there's no way that I could say one way or the other. So I'm just going to skip over this stuff. Hopefully they can, get some more information, more detailed stuff that would prove that the shot wasn't taken from where everybody's claiming that it was taken from, and then go from there. But I have no idea. No clue.
Where you have video of a shot, then you can.
I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know if this is silly or not. This very well could be very legitimate. I'm not here to argue against legitimate stuff.
Triangulate wherever all three of them get to make a video. Really briefly, you can look it up. You can go of the crowd during the.
And what I mean by that is, like, he could make the claim that according to this acoustic analysis that the shot came from over here. I wouldn't fucking know if that dude knows what he's doing or not. I would have no clue. So I'm whatever. I'm just going off of stuff that we actually know and that's been given to us from authorities.
The event.
And claims that people are making that have really no business being made.
Over in the direction that crack bang analysis would seem to indicate. It would be indicating something like this balcony or something like this rooftop. And listen, let's not put.
So we have this. I've seen people claim about like a guy in the bush, this spooky guy, the boogeyman in the bush over here, or also on the top of this roof. I feel like this is just not, unless there's more footage of any type of thing moving around up here. Also with this bush area, there's nothing you guys that we can really go off of. Just, this sounds like it might have come from here. I'd have
too much stock in
Pass.
This little bloop up there, but there is a bloop. And then, if you've been paying attention, you've probably seen all these videos of what appear to be bullets captured in frames of cell phone video.
Okay, so I've definitely seen some of these videos. They show one that they think is coming from like up here at this angle. Then there's this right here. To be honest with you, that they're outdoors. That could be bugs. Most of the video that's taken is from iPhones or cell phones, I guess. And I don't know like how I've used my iPhone a lot to just play around when we're out shooting or whatever and take footage. And I have yet to see a bullet in any frame that I've ever had on a phone. I can see a muzzle flash, that's usually one frame worth or so, 1 to 2 frames. But I've yet to actually catch a visible bullet moving through the air using my iPhone to record the video. And I've never tried to like record one in 120 frames or anything. I've only done, I don't know if it's 60 frame standard or 30 frames, but whatever standard is, I mean, so I don't know. I find it difficult. I don't think you're going to have any luck Google searching somebody on an iPhone and catching a bullet traveling through the air. I don't know how possible that is or how probable that is.
Flying past Charlie. And in order to really get a sense of what.
And if this is allegedly a bullet coming, I don't know, like with this angle that we're at right here, I have no idea what the trajectory of whatever this is going. Did it come from over here? Did it come from back here? And so it's in his neck, but it like you know what I mean? Like this angle doesn't make sense. Does it? So if he's shot from over that way into the back area, head area, right? Back right here, which he wasn't. It's going to go down and take a hard right turn to come out of the base of the neck and then fly down here. I mean, if that's the case, then the 30-06 that he's allegedly shot with, you know what I mean, went into the neck at an 8 to 12 degree angle, immediately expanded when it, hit soft tissue, boom, probably split apart, hit a couple of vertebrae, took him out, and then just bounced down. And we could start making crazy bullet claims if you want. So I don't know what
path that this alleged bullet would be taking. You have to kind of dig through a lot of these videos. But basically, this frame is showing it going down past his knee below him.
So are they saying this is a missed shot?
And there's another frame that people have found with a bullet that appears to be coming in at him from behind.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That could just be a bug.
What the theory that this is developing would establish is a bullet coming down and in from back right side of Charlie.
And we already got rid of that whole theory because it shows clearly that there's no blood coming out of Charlie's head. There's no bullet impact or hitting him. It's just what looks to be a necklace. I just did the video. You guys can go watch that.
Entering somewhere in the back of his neck and head, going down into his neck and probably hitting his spine and severing it, and then exiting out the front, which is the exit wound that we all.
Okay, so if this is that bullet and it's exiting out the front, this looks like it's in between his legs. So that would mean it would have to come at this at a crazy angle from a guy that probably doesn't have a good sight on him because he's got an awning over the top of him. Comes down, hits him back here, comes out here, and then turns to go down in between his legs here. It's not over here. Down.
All saw.
Nope.
Then it would be passing down. Maybe it bullets change angles when they're inside of a body.
Oh, okay. So now bullets change angles when they're inside of a body. Are you guys listening? If one bullet can't, and it's impossible to do so, you can't then come back with another argument and say, well, in this case, they could. No, if that's the case, then a 30-06 could have entered his neck, could have hit something, could have broke apart almost instantaneously once it made, made connection with soft tissue, and just went crazy and shot down and didn't exit anywhere. If bullets can do crazy things and make turns like this, then so can a 30-06. So if you're going to make that claim, you can't say that it's definitely not this then.
Body. And
you can't make fun of the magic bullet then, because what you're describing is kind of a magic bullet.
That would theoretically explain how we see an exit wound on the front. And then in this video, you see the bullet kind of captured in one frame going down past his knee.
Another thing too, is if what we have, it's really hard to tell because we didn't see what happened after the shot, after Charlie falls. You know what I mean? We don't have a real good idea of what that exit wound looks like. We get a pretty quick video that just shows an area kind of start and then just starts to gush, right? I don't want to get graphic, but we see it kind of open and then we see blood start to come out. So if we just go off of that, it's not like a huge exit wound. I think it's an entry wound. Just my opinion.
So you make your own judgment call about this. They're going frame by frame, and you can see it right over here by his knee, passing in front of his black knee. It's there for one frame plus some artifacting on the frames before and after.
I think it's probably just a bug.
Okay? You can clearly see it passing in this direction, downwards angle. That lines up pretty directly with the videos showing it incoming behind.
No, I'm pretty sure there's just every video I've seen, you hear one shot.
Him a little bit above and back.
All right, let's get ahead
please
of that.
give me an analysis of the chances of it.
For me, that's too kooky. I've got to stretch my imagination too far. So no, do not think that that's the case at all.
Is happening with a round fired from pistols and fired from high-powered hunting rifles shooting at 30-06.
Okay, what does this say? Can you describe the chances of catching a bullet midair on? So now is he saying that bullet that we see is a 30-06? I can almost guarantee you're not going to catch a 30-06 round on an iPhone camera.
Right? Because we were told it was a 30-06 round fired from a rifle.
Okay.
But if the shot's actually coming from the side, it's very possible we're talking about a suppressed round, about a subsonic round, about a pistol round, maybe some sort of mechanically mounted gun.
So we do have, they put out another, or they didn't put it out. I guess I just seen it, but there's a video that came out within the last day or so. And that's from the college stream. And in that video, you hear the gunshot. And in my opinion, having shot suppressed, that shot was pretty loud. I do not think that that was a suppressed shot.
It's really hard to say. We don't know. So figure we get a couple of different analyses here. And this is pretty basic math. This is not complicated. At 60 frames per second, an iPhone camera captures each frame.
Matter of fact, while we're going through that, let me see if I can just pull that up. Okay. Let's get into this. So the round was definitely, in my opinion, not a suppressed round. Having shot suppressed quite a bit. It's a pretty loud shot. Okay. And here's this video. This is from the college's stream. That's a loud shot. That's loud. That's open air, right? That is a loud shot. Now, there was a weird thing in this video where you hear somebody like, I think they yell like, stay down or something, but I'm not, until we have more information on that, I don't know if it's just somebody that was maybe like trying to like jumping up on a fenced off area that was trying to get a better view or something. And like a security guard was yelling, stay down or what. I have no idea what the hell that was, but let's watch this again. I also want you to pay attention to this person right here. This person right here reacts in a way you would think somebody would react if there was a bullet shot that just happened from behind you to your right. Watch. Nobody else really like turns their head or reacts, but this person reacts. They immediately, this is so normal when it comes to having unexpected, like loud noises or things happening. You immediately, most people's reactions, you look to where that might be coming from. We look here. This guy's kind of looking too. I don't know if he immediately reacts or not. But this person's reaction is pretty telling of what direction the shot came from. So now everybody gets down and you start to see people look back towards this direction. So here they are. They're all looking that way. This person, anybody's head who I can see is starting to look back in that direction. That is a loud shot. Okay, that's enough. So in my opinion, that's not a suppressed shot. Is he using AI to prove whether or not you can capture a bullet using an iPhone camera? Oh. This is an easy real world test. If anybody watching, if you absolutely just coming at me and I'm a shill and a kook and whatever else you want to call me, do me a favor. Find me a video of somebody with an iPhone capturing, I don't even care, capturing a bullet in frame moving as it's being shot. Just do me that. Find me a few of them. I would really like to see them because I've got a bunch of videos on my phone of shooting and there's not a bullet to be seen.
America, and it's a big conspiracy, and it seems like we're being lied to. It's probably worth following along with John Cullen. He broke a whole bunch of the stuff wide open about the Las Vegas shooting back in 2017, and he certainly is getting involved in this one. John can be a bit of a pain.
Yeah, just to be clear, I don't believe the official story at all with the Las Vegas shooting.
And he has been tracking a couple of developments on this story that basically no one else is talking about. And whether that's for some suspicious reason or because it's a little too nuanced and esoteric and people just haven't quite caught up to where John is at yet. I don't know. But let's take a quick look at some of these flying things that John is finding. Not just John, but John is at the front of this.
Is this about like
so
the
I'm pretty sure that
drones or
John
whatever?
has found a CIA spy plane. It sounds like him and Jason from Crowdsource the Truth have been zeroing in on this spy plane that just so happened to take a flight over there that is sort of...
Okay. I'm probably going to skip ahead of this. I don't know. I'm completely open to this. I'm not going to like try to shut this down at all. I have no idea. So I'm going to skip ahead of this. What else
to do
is it
with
talking about?
a
CIA
shooting case like
spy
this.
plane? Okay. Yeah,
And
this right
they're
here.
pulling out
Like,
little
is this...
pieces of stills out of the footage with little flying objects that are not...
I mean, if this is real and this hasn't been doctored, it's definitely interesting. For sure.
It's not really clear what they are.
Or I don't know if, like, did the school have drones set up as for streaming? Were they streaming from drone cameras? Like, I don't know.
See, this is from a Crowdsource the Truth video. So I don't really know what to make of it yet. I haven't
All right, perfect, Ian. We're on the same page then. I have no idea
spent the
either.
time to kind of follow along
But it's interesting.
super closely with their investigation. But it's worth knowing about and it's worth looking into. It's a little beyond the scope of what I'm talking about here today. But I'm keeping my eye on what they're doing because they might be onto something.
And I got in touch with Jason. I said, we have got to do a show together. You come on, please, hypothetically speaking, show everybody what you found. Jason walks us through 5 different UAVs. Now, this is one of them. You can, if you look towards the top edge of the screen, you see it in the actual, what would you call it? The actual, what?
Actual size. This is what I did for each of these, John, is I went through in a program called After Effects, which is like, this is what you'd use to track motion picture footage if you were doing visual effects in, any movie. So, I was able to track these things down to a sub-pixel level, and then I isolated them, magnified them sometimes as much as 2,400%, so we could just really see it, whatever level of detail was there. So that's what we did with these.
It looks kind of similar to something. I mean, it's kind of reminds me of something maybe I saw maybe a year. All right, so it's time for the big reveal. All right, so what's been going on?
I'd be curious if there were like any on-site reports of anybody else noticing this stuff in the sky at all.
Difference between 2,900 feet per second at the muzzle and 2,600 feet per second at the muzzle. All right.
See, this is where it gets good. They get granular. John is real technical. They're both very smart. And a lot of their content moves slow because they are digging into all the details. So it might not be for everyone. But if you want to know what's going on out here, great guys to follow.
All right, so for all you...
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead of this because I'm interested. Let me know. Okay, where is he
Building,
going?
right? And at first, you see a little bit of the head there. And then it kind of goes away, right? Just a little story.
We should back it up a little
Is
bit.
a lot of their content moves slow because you're a great video where people have been combing through all the video footage and someone noticed what looks like a figure on top of another building. Not the same building as before. This is the Woodbury building, and there's a figure there. See, Woodbury building, right? And at first, you see a little bit of the head there, and then it kind of goes away, right? Just the littlest bit right there. Probably a person, but it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't.
But we
See,
know
I don't like when you say it's probably something when it's really, I don't know what that is, but it's something.
it's the Woodbury building because it pans over, right? It's not like they were trying to film this guy. They just were filming randomly and someone noticed that there was a little head in the frame apparently, right? So when we go to Google Earth, this is the building right here that we are told the shot was taken from.
Well, that's
The
what we
video
see
we
Tyler
just
Robinson
watched was
running.
filmed from right here on this walkway, looking up and around here, right? So it was panning here and here, like this and this. This is the Woodbury building sign that was in the end of the video, and the person's head would have been seen somewhere in this area, right? So it is worth.
Okay. Nothing. Definitely should be checking into this too and find out more information about this or what we can. I just want to put a disclaimer up. If there's something in this video that, let's say you watched this video and I didn't cover something, I'm not doing that intentionally to like say that, like, no, if I'm not covering something, it's because I can't give a plausible explanation for it. And I'm probably have just as many questions as you do about it. So most of the stuff that I'm covering, I just want to cut out the kooky stuff that I can give plausible explanations for that aren't anywhere near out of the realm of possibility. To stop that stuff. Stuff like this is definitely intriguing. Well, you know what I mean? We have cell phone footage. When was that taken? What time of day? What day was that taken? Stuff like that. More information is needed, but definitely open to it.
Developing here. We have a patsy. Looks like a willing patsy. Whether
there is calling him a willing. Okay, this is where we're going to have a problem. What would entice somebody to become a willing patsy? Why would you be a willing patsy? Most patsies that I'm aware of that we call patsies were not willing patsies, and they were shot and killed before they could really talk about anything. I mean, unless I'm forgetting some. So I'm going to have a really hard time believing he's a willing patsy just because it doesn't make any sense. He might as well just take the shot then. And if that's the case, then if you can form some type of connection with him and whoever else, that there were more than one person involved, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But he couldn't be an unwilling patsy, right? Like, we can all agree on it that there's no way that he could be an unwilling patsy because somebody's got to put him on that roof, right? Why the hell would you go up to the roof? And then if somebody's shot and killed and you don't have anything on you, why would you run and risk bodily injury jumping off of that roof if you've done nothing wrong and have nothing on your person? I mean, granted, they could plant stuff and whatever, but that seems a bit too far-fetched. And then to keep him alive this long. Okay, so here's my issue with having like an alleged patsy being Tyler Robinson or whoever on this roof. Well, if there's a security camera that has this roof angle on it, there's not a security camera for the other roof angle that he's talking about here. This is a campus. There's got to be security cameras all over the place. So that, you know what I mean? I guess in the grand scheme of things, if it's a complete government cover up, they're going to be able to get rid of whatever information that they want to, I suppose. But
grounds at all. But instead, homie just went for a little walk for the cameras. Hence why they didn't show us the footage of the shot being taken, because it doesn't look like the shot was taken from there. It seems like we have an actual shooter up and to Charlie's right, somewhere in this area, whether that's on this balcony that was uninhabited or possibly up on this roof.
Okay, so if he's up here in this bush or up here on this roof, how does he get down and get away without being seen? We've got a guy up here. Where does he go? Is he going to go up and over here and jump off? Like, you know what I mean? He ain't going to jump off. Where does he go? And is there not people back over here in this area at all? There's no cars coming in back over here to see somebody jumping off of a roof or running around on a roof or trying to get away? I don't know.
Or maybe concealed somewhere in here, although there was people all along this walk.
Yeah, there's no way somebody made a shot from over here and was able to just sneak out. I really don't think so. I think unless some more like compelling stuff comes out, I think we have a clear case of Occam's razor, and that being the simplest answer is probably the correct one. And it's the guy on the roof that we see get up and run away and jump off of a building carrying something that looks like a rifle, trying to get out of the area and get away. Just my opinion.
And people all up these stairs and down in a row. Public. I'm a little confused. And I'm not really sure if that's still going to be happening. Honestly, find it.
What's he talking about?
We'll be getting answers about that this week because Alex Clark announced on Twitter that Erica will be coming on her podcast to speak openly about everything from the conspiracy, regardless of what's actually true and regardless of how much she knows. A lot of information, and the Israel conversation is a whole can of worms, and I just want to get this one out because this information is changing and updating so fast that it feels appropriate to split the shooting information up from the greater cultural kind of Israeli-American relationship conversation.
Yeah, okay. Props for Ian Carroll not going down the Israel path because there's stuff that needs to be, that there needs to be more information first, just in the basic stuff that's happening with the shooting before you start trying to tie Israel and all these like CIA connections and all this stuff. So if that's what he's talking about here, props to him for that, because you can get super kooky really quick on conspiracy theories to the point where you're just nuts. And they're like, what are you doing? All in all, I think Ian did a fairly decent job with this video. There's definitely quite a bit of stuff on here that I disagree with. He made some claims that, in my opinion, he shouldn't be making. But he did bring up, there's obviously holes in the story. And I think the obvious holes are the ones that need to be focused on. That we don't, you know what I mean? There's no reason to like bring in CIA stuff yet or start pushing some type of Israel did it. Like, focus on the obvious holes first. What hit Charlie Kirk in the neck and what angle did it come from? As far as I can tell, it looks like it came from the front. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. I am not done with this yet.